You want more. So why aren't you moving? You have big dreams. You want to build a better life. You want to feel fulfilled. Maybe you want to be an employee or an entrepreneur. Ultimately, you want to live the life you've always imagined. But there's a problem. You're stuck. You know exactly what you should be doing, but you're not doing it. This leads to guilt, because deep down you know you're capable of so much more. But the guilt fades within days, weeks, or months, and it turns into something far worse: comfort. A new year comes. You write down the same goals you wrote last year. You start strong, but the cycle repeats. You begin to see yourself as the kind of person who just can't stay consistent, and that identity becomes your reality. So how do we break this cycle? A lot of advice online tells you to change your mindset, delete social media, or build new habits. That's useful, but it doesn't get to the root of the problem. The real issue: inertia. In physics, Newton's first law says, an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion, unless acted upon by an external force. That law doesn't just apply to physics, it applies to life. The hardest part of change is the start. We imagine the first step is huge and overwhelming. We wait for motivation, and instead we reach for tiny dopamine hits that make us feel like we're doing something, without actually doing anything. So what's the solution? Make the start smaller. If your goal is to write a 1,000-word story, don't start with that. Start with 50 words, just 50. That's easy, that's manageable. And once you start writing, you'll usually keep going, because motion leads to motion. This is the power of momentum. Another trick: the 3-minute rule. If you don't feel like doing something, tell yourself you'll do it for just 3 minutes. Start a timer, or play one song. Clean your room, write, study, whatever it is. You can stop when the timer ends. But most of the time, you won't want to, because you're already in motion. Getting started is like pressing play. Once you do, everything else gets easier. You don't need to conquer the mountain today. Just take one small, easy step. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step.